I'm Doyle. You're listening to Spirit Talk Show. If you guys would like to get involved, go to spirittalkshow.com. Spirit Talk Show, bedtime stories for grown-ups. We are still reading these AI generated stories. Tonight, we're going to try something a little bit different. Am I the A? We were trying to decide if we can say that word on the air, so we decided that we can't. But I still have Connor in the studio with me. Thank you for coming back, Connor.
Of course. Glad to be here.
So, what did you think of these AI generated stories? It's the first time you've heard them. Were they better than you thought, did you think?
I would say they're at least comparable to like what I was seeing on the internet before AI, took over and did the thing. So like it's on par with what people are putting out there at least.
Okay. I don't know if that's a compliment of AI or if it's an insult for people. I'm not sure. So because the stories it writes some good stuff, but so some of the stuff seems like a little bit on the.
I mean, sometimes it's a little simple. There's
Yeah.
definitely a lack of depth that I would say AI has in terms of what it is able to write, but if it's definitely capable of writing some stuff though.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good for if you have if you have like statements you got to write for a job or something, write it yourself and then put it into AI and say, hey, make this better. I think that's good because it's still your original thoughts. It's just making a little bit.
I definitely think that it is. It really depends on what you put into it, like the amount of information you give it.
Well, it can also write good things. I had to write a legal statement for a court thing, and it wrote it really well. So it was great. Okay, and I won. Okay, so do you want to read another story here, and then we'll go on to the Am I the A-hole?
Oh, of course.
So stories. Okay, so this is your story. Okay, and whenever you're ready, go ahead and read.
All right. I didn't think I'd ever get to be myself. That's what I told my friend last week as we dug through the thrift store in Midtown Sacramento hunting for old film cameras. I was holding a 1970s Polaroid, the kind that my mom used to have, the kind that I used to sneak out of her closet as a kid, snapping blurry pictures of our backyard because I thought capturing a moment made it last forever. She died when I was 12. I don't talk about it much, not because I don't miss her, I do every single day, but because growing up Mormon in a small town meant grief was just another thing that you were supposed to pray away. I tried, I prayed, I fasted, I bore my testimony in church, all while quietly knowing that a much bigger secret was sitting in my chest, waiting to ruin everything. By 16, I knew I liked boys. By 18, I was pretending I didn't. By 20, I was exhausted, so I left. Sacramento wasn't even my first choice, just the first place I could afford to move to. But it became a home faster than I expected. I got my first real job at a coffee shop, bought a secondhand camera, and started taking pictures of buildings, of strangers, of moments I didn't want to forget. I learned how to build furniture off of YouTube and started making my own shelves. I fell in love with vintage stores and anime nights at a local bar, with the way that my life felt like mine for the first time. Coming out wasn't a single moment, it was hundreds of little ones. The first time I admitted to a coworker, the first time I admitted it to a coworker, the first date I went on, the first time I kissed a guy without fear gripping my stomach. It was realizing that the world wouldn't end if I was honest. Now I have a wall full of old cameras and a workbench covered in sawdust. I have friends who get me, who send me anime recommendations and go thrifting with me on Sundays. I have a past, and I don't run from a future I'm finally excited for. And on the best days, I like to think my mom would be proud.
So, does this parallel your life at all in a small town and coming out? Was there, what was it like?
So, I mean, growing up in a small town, I mean, definitely there was no hiding the fact that I was gay. Like, I mean, listen to my voice.
Yeah.
And it was actually kind of funny. In my high school, I started at an early college high school, and, like, that was fine. Kind of didn't really stick out much. But when I swapped over to the normal high school, all of these kids, like, suddenly were like, oh, my God, there's that gay kid. But they weren't rude about it. There was a couple buttholes, but quite literally, like, I was suddenly, like, this popular sensation when I was a senior in high school as just for being gay. And the freshman girls would be like, oh, my God, we love you. I would just be like, I met you? And they're like, yeah, you met us, like, 3 weeks ago. And I was like, oh, cool, have a good day.
Some people deal with things they're uncomfortable with by going a little bit like overboard and being like, "Oh, I love you because of this thing," when you're making it obvious that you're just being uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
It's not, and I've had just a similar experience than you. I came out later.
Yeah.
What I mean is, I know what it was like to. Well. Actually, I'm presuming. Did you ever try to pretend you weren't? Like, was there a time that you were pretending that you were?
So I mean, like, there was. Yeah, I mean, there was a time where I was hiding the fact that I was gay, at least specifically, like, from my parents and, like,
Hmm.
from certain friends, but, like, my very close girlfriends and, like, their moms, they all knew.
Okay, so, and was I accurate in saying your mom has passed away?
Yeah.
When did she pass away?
She passed away when I turned 12, actually.
What year was that?
Um, 2009?
Wait, the story knew that correctly?
Yeah, pretty
I
much.
didn't have that information, so it guessed that correctly.
I did.
That's kind of.
Oh, sorry, no, I was 12, but no, I just turned 13, my bad.
Is it something you like to talk about? Like, was it a sickness or was it an accident or?
It was an accident. She hit her head, and basically, if you don't know what a hematoma is, it's
Yeah.
inherently just like a large goose egg kind of thing swelling up, and so
Wow.
she got a big old hematoma on the back of her brain, and it just,
Wow. I'm sorry.
she went to sleep and then suffocated, according to what the doctor said. But
Okay, that's terrible. Did you found her?
no, I did not.
Okay.
I was living at my dad's house at the time. Her partner at the time found her.
Okay. 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 I'm going to read this story, the "Am I the A-hole for ruining a child's life?" And it's from Reddit. Am I the A-hole? Today I started talking to an American mother while in the A&E, which by the way is ER in England, right? Her child was interested in artwork. I have on my leather jacket, as it's pretty colorful. The mother mentioned that her daughter's name was Grain, so I assumed for a while that she was another mother who wanted something special to call her child. Now we have to remember this stuff is written by people, so sometimes the grammar is a little off.
Mm-hmm.
I remarked that it was a unique name, and I'd never met anyone called Grain before. She told me that she's named after a great grandmother, and that it's an Irish name. I've never heard the name actually. At this point, the alarm bells were ringing in my head because I realized that the kid is called Grania, generally pronounced Grania or thereabouts. So hey, I know how to pronounce that word correctly. I tried to be tactful, and I was like, Irish was such an interesting alphabet. How is her name spelled? Irish names can be tricky. The kid called Grania, not Grain, my partner, who has studied Irish political history as part of their dissertation, and also the Irish diaspora, and its culture around their university city. It's is stuck somewhere between a stifling laugh and dying of embarrassment on her behalf. So I come up with what I thought was a very positive reply. I said, an old school name and a more modern pronunciation. I think that's a great way to pick names. I would like to point out that I do not like the name Grania for a child, nor do I like the way it's pronounced. The pronunciation was butchered, but I was trying to be tactful and positive. She asked what I meant, and I said, well, in Ireland, they typically pronounce it like Grania. Her face went red, and she said I shouldn't have said that pronunciation was wrong in front of the kid, because now she's going to grow up knowing that her name is wrong and feel bad about it. I apologized for causing offense, and we stated that it's a lovely name in both ways, and it's fantastic nod to her heritage. I said that I'm sure her great-grandmother would be thrilled to be honored by her name being used. I was throwing out just about every positive reinforcement I could think of, but to be frank, she was pissed at me. She told me that I'd ruined her daughter's self-esteem and that her life was ruined by me saying that in essence, that her existence is wrong. I didn't say that, by the way. I said that the name was pronounced atypically. Grania, for context, was 2 years old and completely unbothered by the conversation until her mother got angry at me. It's a baby. She was just looking at the pictures on my jacket. The conversation was maybe 5 minutes long, but I managed to ruin this kid's life. Hindsight says I should have kept my mouth shut and waited for somebody else in this city to say something. So am I the a-hole? No. So it says here, okay, so definitely, I don't think he's the a-hole.
Oh, I don't think so either.
I mean, the child's 2, so yeah.
I mean, that child doesn't even probably understand what's going on. He probably understands, I've heard a word I've heard before many times.
Yeah, I don't think the child. I mean, it's so silly that somebody would think they were the a-hole for telling a 2-year-old their name is pronounced wrong. Like the 2-year-old's forgotten right away, right?
Yeah, and now, I mean, if this person was a teacher and, let's say it was, a 6-year-old coming into kindergarten.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe then.
I mean, there are some Irish names that I know Irish names, because the Irish alphabet is not phonetic, you can't sound out words. So, how would you pronounce my nephew's name is Cian. How would you pronounce that?
Kane.
It's Cian, yeah. It's Cian, yeah. And this is named to everybody, Siobhann. People say Siobhan. It's Siobhan, right?
Well, I've seen that name before.
Yeah, so the Irish names is, because there's no K in the Irish alphabet. That's why you know that Boston Celtics. It should be the Boston Celtics. But it should be, I think they say the Boston Celtics. They say the Boston Celtics or Boston.
I don't know. I think do not follow sports.
Gay people talking about sports. Why are we talking about that stuff? I think they had their big football game a few weeks ago.
Yeah. Yeah, what was that? I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't even watch. Okay, this is your one, okay? So here you go. You're going to read this one.
Am I the A for leaving my family gathering and taking the cake with me after getting my feelings hurt? Oh, I actually think I've heard this one. I, 27 female, hit 1 year sober from alcohol at the beginning of the year. This was a huge accomplishment for me, and it was bigger to me than finishing college. I told my family that the next time we were together for family dinner, I had something to celebrate. This all happened at my mom's. The kids were playing and the adults were hanging out. I took a moment to share that I'd reached 1 year sober and how good I felt about it. They went with, "Oh, that's what you were talking about. And has it been a year already?" I, embarrassed to admit, I hoped someone would say they're proud of me. My B-I-L.
Brother-in-law?
Oh, brother-in-law, Steve, looked at my sister and they both said, well, at the same time. And she said, since we're all here, my niece just got into a specific gymnastics thing and it's been a long road, but she did it. Steve popped some wine and Steve popped some wine they'd brought and started giving everybody glasses and cups. He made eye contact with me and his face fell. I had this gnawing feeling, so I got up from the table. I took a walk. I tried to get through the moment mentally so I could be present for my niece to celebrate her success. But when I got back to the house, my sister asked me why I left without saying anything. I said I needed a minute to myself. She looked at me funny and said, okay. I said I'd shared something I was very proud of, and she bulldozed over it. My mom put her hand up and asked me what my news was, and I said that I told them I hit 1 year sober. My mom said my generation always wanted praise for doing the bare minimum. That wasn't an accomplishment, and it wasn't something I needed to do, like graduating high school. I tried to make it through dinner, but found myself just not in a normal mood anymore. I decided to go home. Here is the direct thing that I am being called the a-hole for. I brought a small berry chantilly cake, my favorite, to share after dinner. It was the one thing I decided I'd earned. The kids had definitely seen it on my way out. I decided to take it home with me. I guess when they realized the cake wasn't in the garage fridge anymore, my sister called to ask me why I took it. I said I did it because it was my cake to celebrate my accomplishment. And she said, word for word, "Are you fudging serious?" Oh my
That's
goodness.
not what she said.
It's not what she said. Oh my God, Emma, grow up. You are such a fudging baby. My mom later texted me directly to tell me how disappointed she was that I threw a tantrum because my niece got more attention than me. I don't think I don't think her I don't think her read of what happened. Oh, I
Read
don't
or
her
her.
read of what happened is right. But that is why I'm asking you guys. Am I the A because I took my cake home? Was it really childish of me considering the kids saw it and they didn't get any? As I was putting on my shoes to leave, Steve found me and directly apologized and said that he was completely oblivious in the moment. I know he did not do anything to intentionally hurt me. Edit, follow up. Hi, everyone. I just wanted to follow up and say thank you for everyone and their responses. I have a lot to think about and when it comes to therapy today, actually, and to work on. I do want to clear up a few things that I've seen come up in a lot of the comments. I am not in AA. I'd tried AA before and it was not compatible for me. It works for a lot of people very well, and I'm happy for you if it works for you. So, stuff about the steps and personal inventory are not relevant to me. It wasn't a party for my niece. It was just a family dinner. The cake was mine and wasn't brought for my niece. I didn't take it because I wanted to get back at them. I took it because it's my favorite cake and I wanted to eat it because it was my thing that I had earned. I don't know why they opened wine for my niece getting into a gymnastics program, but I also don't think it's my place to say anyone else has a drinking problem. I'd prefer to have eyes on my own paper.
So, do you think she was a hill?
No, I don't think so. Her family definitely seems to be like a little dysfunctional.
Yeah, I think it makes me sad that families, like, why they should be the place we get encouragement and love. And she just wanted someone to say like, someone to say like, oh, I'm happy for you. I mean, is that too much to ask?
You know, if my mom ever told me like, "Oh, you're only doing the bare minimum," I would probably just be like, "Wow, thanks, mom." But I'd literally tell her I'm doing the bare minimum, and she's like, "Doesn't it feel nice to have like everything done?"
Well,
I'm like, "Yeah."
yeah, I know I noticed that people will sometimes will say, like I tell them something excited that I'm doing. I remember last year I was telling someone like, oh, I've started drinking so much water and I feel so much better. And their response is, oh, so you're drinking a minimum amount of water? That's so exciting. But why are you being an A about it? I'm just saying something that made me happy. And can't you celebrate and share in someone's happiness? There's poo-pooers, right?
Yeah.
Like you go to the gym and hey, I've started working out. Oh, you're doing it wrong, or stuff like that. Why do people waste so much time in being pessimistic like that?
I don't know. People, because people are A's.
Well, yeah. Have you met people?
I have.
Okay. Well, I forgot that I wanted to like to do this one. It's a story in the style of Dr. Seuss.
Okay.
And do you want to be Sam or Lou?
I don't mind.
Okay. Well, I'll be Sam.
Okay.
And you will it's supposed to be whether old or new anime is best. Okay. So I'll be Sam. It says old versus new, an anime view. Two friends, Sam and Lou, sit on a couch surrounded by anime DVDs, VHS tapes, and streaming screens. Oh, old anime is the best, I say. The classic shine in every way. With hand-drawn art and stories bold, they have a charm that won't grow old.
Oh, Sam, you're stuck in days long past. New anime is built to last. The colors pop, the action's slick, the fights are fast, and the plots are thick.
But modern shows just move too quick. They skip the heart, they rush, they trick. Can they compare to Cowboy Bebop or Trigun's charm? I think not, full stop.
Oh, don't be grumpy, don't be sour. New shows have their own great power. Attack on Titan, Jujutsu Kaisen, stories gripping, oh so rising.
So silly. But in my time we took our care, with art so rich and plots so rare. We had Ava, we had Lane, am I saying the names right? And dubs that didn't sound insane. Oh my gosh.
But old dubs, Sam, let's be real. The voices made me cringe and squeal. Now subs are crisp, the scripts are tight, and the voice work, oh, a sheer delight.
But hand drawn frames had so much soul. Moderns just look just lacking control. CGI, it breaks my heart. It can't compare to hand drawn art.
But budgets, Sam, they're big today. They let creators go and play. New techniques and brand new tools, let's admit, both are cool.
Perhaps you're right, O friend so wise. There's good in both. What a surprise. The old and new, they shine the same. A great big word in anime's name.
So let's not fight. Let's just agree. More anime for you and me. Old or new, there's much to love. Now grab some snacks. Let's binge My Dove.
Okay, we're supposed to clink our soda, but since we have plastic cups, that it probably doesn't work for the clink. They clink their soda cans, press play as anime history unites them both. So, what do you think, old or new?
So, I mean, definitely, I like the classics that are like the classics for me, not necessarily like the old ones like Naruto, like the big three. But I love some of the new anime that's been coming out. I mean, there are like the super duper old anime that's like, like maybe even like from like the 40s or things that like quite literally like everything is hand drawn and it's like a 5 minute anime and that's it. I watched one the other day with my boyfriend, and basically it was like a sad story about how we're polluting the oceans and we're gonna blow the whole world up and like,
Oh,
oh gosh, what was it? An otter or something like went all the way to Antarctica or something.
so does your boyfriend, who's actually sitting in the studio right here? Hey, Evan. He's does he like anime too, or you like are you forcing it down his throat?
I mean, I definitely am trying to put the gas on that for him. However, he does have an appreciation for anime. He actually, I was to my surprise when I met him, had already watched some anime before me, and I was like, oh, I got lucky here.
Oh, you wanted to. So you didn't want to introduce them to it.
Oh no, I always want to introduce people into anime, but I was glad that I was not starting from scratch.
Okay, cool. So starting from scratch, just like you have to. So it sounds like if you had a boyfriend, he was perfect, he was amazing, but he didn't like anime. That's a deal breaker for you. That's the deal is broken.
It's not a deal breaker for me. Actually, I've never had a boyfriend that hated anime. However, like growing up, like watching TV together is like the pastime you do. You have dinner, you watch TV together, you go to bed. The things you do as family, and so like in my every kind of relationship, whether it's a friendship or a relationship, if we can't watch TV together, there's something that's not gonna
Yeah,
click
well,
there.
because we spend a lot of time watching TV, maybe we should spend less. Okay, you got to do this one, MIDA. Okay, and it's probably be the last one because we're at 23 minutes almost.
Okay.
So.
Well, am I the A for refusing to take care of my children? I kind of want to say yes. I, 26 female, gave birth to my second child 2 days ago. It was a beautiful home birth, so I was never discharged from the hospital. With my first and this pregnancy, I made it clear to my husband I wanted to follow the 5-5-5 rule. He seemed to drag his feet, but because he wanted kids more than I did, but he agreed. I still love my kids dearly and wouldn't not have them now. I just didn't want to go through pregnancy. First 5 days in bed, nothing but skin to skin with my daughter, breastfeeding and resting. Next 5 days on bed, sitting up, still breastfeeding, cuddling my baby, doing homework with my son, crossword puzzles, etc. Next 5 days after that, around the bed, still majority resting, but doing light chores, folding laundry, diaper changing, just not standing for more than 30 minutes, all while still cuddling with the baby, breastfeeding the baby, and doing homework with my son and coloring. This baby was very colicky, and my husband is the one having to get out of bed, walk around with her, and sit in the rocking chair, do diapers, and take her and our son on walks to get some sunshine. Our son, 5 years old, started acting out at home due to the stress of the new baby and lack of sleep. We've offered him going to my parents next door, and he seems interested. We've prepared a month's worth of freezer meals, so for dinner, all he has to do is throw the disposable tin in the oven and walk away for a few hours. We have more than enough disposable dishware, is what I'm assuming.
Yeah.
We have a dog. He needs to be fed and take them out on walks with the kids. Today, he came to me crying, saying it was all too much and he couldn't do this by himself. I reminded him that he agreed to it and I would go back to work shortly after the 5-5-5 is up. So I need to be rested and healed as possible so I can perform tasks at work and come home and perform tasks as well. He begged me to help out with our son, who would not sit still and help with light cleaning, wiping countertops, gathering clutter into a pile, etc. I again said no. I am entitled to the rest, and I will be around the house in 8 days. And to add, I'm not looking for advice on the 555 method. This is not what this post is about.
So I think we've the first one where she might actually be the A. Is she's like, she doesn't seem interested in her kids. Is that what I'm understanding?
No, so I think what this is, it's like, you're basically you're staging your heal time on it, and it sounds like she's still taking care of like the actual newborn baby, but like the other two, she's like, yo, you gotta go take care of that one
Mm-hmm.
and that one, because I'm busy taking care of this one and me.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
she's like, I can't move around too much. Is she maybe seeming a little bit of an A? A little bit. I think her approach could be different.
I'm leaning towards A because she seems like she could be a bit nicer about it. Because kids are hard. You just have to all help with everything when you've kids. You have 2 kids, right?
Yeah. I mean,
And
pregnancy is hard too, and it's definitely
is,
so
yeah.
is child labor. But
Mine were 5 years apart like that too. So cool. Well, hey, we're getting pretty close to the end. But Connor, thank you so much for coming on. And
well,
like
thank you
maybe
for
I can
having me.
convince you to come back sometime.
I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Okay, good. Well, you have 15 seconds to say whatever you want. Go.
Well, geez.
What?
Thank you so much for having me on your shows. It's my first time ever being on the radio, and
cool.
it's actually quite a lot of fun.
Great. Well, thank you so much. It was a pleasure. You're actually an actor. You're a natural. You should do this. Yeah. Hey, Evan's nodding. But thank you all for listening. If you guys would like to get involved, wow, words. If you guys would like to get involved, go to spirittalkshow.com and say goodnight, Connor.
Good night.
Okay, a lot of people say goodnight, Connor. Okay,